Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? Did you get what you're hoping for? Hello friends, it's Terry Mullen and Happy New Year. That happens to be the lyrics from one of my favorite songs, the Mahogany theme song with Diana Ross, and I think it's so perfect for what we're going to talk about here on the podcast today. As promised, I'll share what worked, what didn't, and a few of my favorite things from this past year. Please join me as I take a look back and a look forward to what's to come, because I'm reflecting on the highs and the lows and the messy middle and the incredible lessons that I've learned along the way. In this episode, we're going to dive into this because we can't figure out where we're going to go unless we understand where we've been. So grab that warm cup of coffee and a notebook. Let's go. Welcome to Step Forward with Terry Mullen. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been following along for a while, welcome back and thank you so much for being here. I'm a mom to 4 adults, a wife of 34 years, a midlife entrepreneur, and your confidence coach who transformed my own doubt into confidence to speak, write my book, start a podcast, and launch my own business. Now I empower other amazing women just like you to do the same. So lean in and learn how to crush that fear, amplify your voice, and build confidence to create your own impact and income. I'm here to encourage you and empower you every step of the way. Let's step forward. Every year, I do an exercise where I stand where I am and I look back at all that I've accomplished and all that I've done throughout the year. It's actually an exercise that I learned from Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, and I talk about this in my book, Step Forward. But my husband got coaching from him for several years, and ever since then, I've been doing this exercise. It's a really important exercise and a really powerful one. And for me, it has been really hard for me to look back and give myself credit at how far I've come. I'm always kind of on to the next thing. I'm a problem solver and I persevere and have incredible tenacity. And so I often forget just to pause and look at what I've done. I kind of just keep going. And that hasn't been a good thing for me. So I hope you can learn from that. And it's also not uncommon, actually, for those of us that are high achievers, high performing, very ambitious entrepreneurs. And maybe you see yourself that way as well. Often we struggle with looking back and celebrating our wins. And some of it can do with our childhood too. But we often define our success by measuring where we are now against our ideal goals of who we are, right? And we forget to celebrate what we've actually done. And that can lead to unhappiness and often feeling inadequate. So I've learned to measure really where I am now by looking back at where I started and how far I've really come. I measure the progress. That actually leads to happiness. And that's actually called the gain. So Dan Sullivan calls this the gap and the gain. But looking back at how far we've come and recognizing our progress is really powerful. It's an incredible mindset shift and really important for us as women and entrepreneurs because it really builds our confidence and it helps us stay motivated. So grab your notebook, even right now, or a journal or a piece of paper, and look back on your year. Write down those things that you accomplished. Those things that you showed courage and confidence and tenacity and resilience, those things that you overcame, those things that you did really well. And write them down. Don't overthink it. Just let those words flow. Don't judge it either. And then really pause and look at that list and celebrate it. Congratulate yourself. Tell yourself how proud you are of all those things that you've done. I bet you'll be surprised because I always am. I always forget to really look back. And this has been something that's really, really good for me to do. And I want to encourage you with that. And if you have a block, I learned something from Brendon Burchard and Mel Robbins. Take out your phone and look at all your photos from 2024. It's a really great way to reflect on your milestones and your experiences, the places you've been, the things that brought you joy, and the people that you were with that really helped shape your year, or those people that you really love. It's an amazing and empowering exercise to do. I actually did this a few days ago. And interesting, I found a lot of photos about nature. One of the things was a lot of photos of sunrises for me, because one of my goals this year was to sit out on my patio every morning and get my journal and watch the sunrise. and it's been a really powerful exercise for me to do. I also found a lot of photos of flowers. I love taking pictures of flowers. And I also love to go to the mountains. There's this little mountain town nearby. It's a place where I really just recharge, and I just spend the day just kind of wandering. And I go into this little nursery, I get a cup of coffee, all those things. But it brings me joy. I also enjoyed looking at all the photos of my children, my adult children. And if you are a mother or a parent of an adult child, you know how that role has changed and how important those moments are together, that you get those times with them. And for me, that's something that I'm still working on and still growing through. And if you are a midlife mom and you're an empty nester, then you understand what this is like. Other moments for me that I celebrated were just time that I connected with other women, my female friends, those female friends that I have cherished and had friendships for a really long time, and also my female entrepreneur friends that I've made and connected with along this path. So I just want to encourage you, what are those moments that have brought you joy? So just to dive in and share some of the highlights for me, some of the personal growth things that I did. Number one was just doing Growth Day LA with Brendan Burchard. If you're not familiar with him, I highly encourage you to dive in and learn more about Growth Day. It's really powerful. He's such a well-known motivational speaker and leader and entrepreneur. And it was a huge highlight for me. My husband is actually the member, and we went to LA once a month to hear Brendan speak, and his guests, often Ed Milet, Trent Shelton, Jamie Kern-Lima, Anthony Trucks, Natalie Ellis, Lori Harder, just really powerful people that we all know in the personal growth and development space. So huge moments for me. I grew personally and in my business. I also attended Brendan's 2-day live coaching training, which was really powerful, really reaffirmed why I do what I do. I did that one on my own, and I loved it, made awesome connections with people, and actually met a lot of people that had written books or were writing books. So that was really fun too. Another thing that I did that was really one of the most powerful moments for me was speaking to a group of college students about midlife and my journey to step forward. In my book, one of the things that I share is that I actually dropped out of college. And so I was able to share with them what that meant to me, to empower them, encourage them, and how far I've come since that moment. And it was a really life-changing moment. And the woman that actually was teaching the class really told me that I really had a great impact on the students. And so that was really affirming and just something that really blessed my heart and soul. Something I did on a business level was helping women launch their podcast. That's been a huge success for me, something that has brought me incredible joy, watching others step forward and step into their power by using their voice and building their own businesses and influence. Huge moment for me to celebrate that and be a part of that. I learned that on my podcast, there's been incredible growth this year, which is so much fun. So thank you for listening in and being a part of that growth. I grew my listeners by 50%. I grew my followers by 68%, which is huge. I actually grew my listening audience too, the ages 35 to 44, which is interesting, an age group that I'm tapping into and touching. So that's really powerful. Hopefully I can be a role model and inspire you if you're listening in. But I'm also really targeting my age group, which is women 45 and above. So that's super powerful. We're making a difference and we're connecting and we're stepping forward and doing life together. So I'm really proud of that. And I'd love to learn more about what you need and what you want to hear more about so that we can continue to grow this podcast and our life together. Another thing that Spotify told me, Spotify always does this year-end wrap, super fun. It's really great data, but it's also really fun and empowering. And it told me that I am a trendsetter as a podcaster. That's my podcasting personality. And it just made me smile. To be honest, it actually just confirms what I believe about myself. I've been told that I'm a trailblazer and now a trendsetter and a leader. So I know I think outside the box, and it just blesses me to know that I'm offering value to all of you and shaping the conversation for midlife women, reminding us that it's never too late to step forward. We're not too old. We can continue to reinvent ourselves and dive into this season of life and be proud of who we are. Another thing I did for my business was getting a coach. I've done some really deep work, and I'm so grateful for that. Hopefully I'll get to have her on the podcast here at some point, but done some really deep, powerful work that's really helped me think differently and to gain more clarity on really what I'm doing and to level up and rise up and not be afraid of that. A highlight for me personally was visiting my adult children, and as I shared, that role continues to grow and evolve as a midlife mom and mom of adult children. I miss my children. They do not live close to us. They live in New York and Texas, and so one of my takeaways this year, which I'll share, is that I really have to be more strategic about spending more time with them. I love them. I am so proud of each one of them. They are my greatest joys. And for those of you that don't know, I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. And once I started to become an empty nester, I had this aha, like, what's next? That's what led to starting this podcast and writing my book and coaching women, because we step into this new role as an empty nester, and it's important to have a purpose. Once our kids leave, we are rediscovering who we are. Our marriage changes, where we live changes. A lot shifts at this time. It's one of the most transitional times in our life, and we just don't talk about it enough, honestly. And I've shared this before. There are books on, what to do when you're expecting and, getting your baby to sleep and the terrible twos and the teens and the tweens and all that. And then once our kids are adults, we don't really talk about it, but it's a completely different role. And we have to learn how to leave our opinions often at the door and just celebrate who they are. And that's why I'm so excited about Mel Robbins' new book, Let Them. I think that's going to have a huge, huge impact on me. That's probably been one of my biggest takeaways this year, is to let them. I've made some mistakes. I've said things I shouldn't have said. I've been in the middle of things that I shouldn't have, and it's just out of my own compassion. But I have to step back and let them. They are already doing amazing. Each one of them live independently, have amazing jobs. I have 2 kids that are married. They're very independent and self-sufficient. I'm just here to cheer them on and love on them. So one of my highlights actually was when our youngest came home. I got to cook for him and just love on him a whole lot. And that just kind of warmed my heart and soul. So hope that helps you if you're struggling in any of those areas, and hope you can relate to that. But some of the things that didn't work, I was really excited. I took a podcast course this year, and in the midst of that, I was advised to change my podcast name, and I've struggled with that, to be honest, ever since. And Hello Redlow is the name of the former podcast. That has remained my business name. But Redlow has been my battle cry. It is older spelled backwards for those of you that are new. It is my mission to empower all of us midlife women to know that we can redefine midlife, that we can step forward, we can have a second purpose in our life and keep moving forward and pursue our goals and dreams, that it's never too late to do that. And so Redlow has a really deep meaning. It is more of a collective. I say that you are Redlow, I am Redlow, we are Redlow, and together we step forward. So what is my lesson from that? We really need to listen to our own inner knowing. Jamie Kern-Lima talks about that. That's God's spirit for me. Redlow came to me in the middle of a night. Couldn't have thought of this on my own. And I've actually done a deeper dive into other words, like Oprah has Harpo spelled backwards. Etsy is just a random name that means really nothing. Google does have some meaning, but also wasn't really anything until it was Google. Spanx from Sarah Blakely, right? Really wasn't anything until it became an unknown name. And Zappos as well. So some of these kind of fun, quirky names, and even Skims, like I think that's based on Kim Kardashian's name. But a name becomes a name once you make it and you define it, and that becomes your brand. So I want to encourage you that as you're stepping forward and creating something yourself, lean into the whispers in your soul and pay attention to them. They're not always right. They're not always perfect, but it gives you a starting point, and you have to believe in what you're doing. And when you have a podcast, podcasting is kind of different. It's a very, very creative space. The one thing I do know is that you don't want a really long podcast name, but podcast is search engine optimized in that all the words that you use when you're describing each episode, when you're titling your episodes, those actually come up in searches. I've never really searched a podcast on midlife. I may have typed in something wanting to know about midlife, and that podcast will show up on Google. But a lot of times I find my podcasts from listening to other podcasts and other guests. But podcasts will show up on Google based on the words and the keywords that you actually type in. So huge, huge, huge lesson for me. And if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I'm here to help you do that. Second thing that was something that didn't work that I really have learned a huge lesson, and that has been my time management. And I talked about this in the previous episode, in episode 117. I created the Step Forward framework and kind of redid that. because I realized that I have to be far more strategic in all that I'm doing in the coming year. I've worked insane hours. I have not taken care of myself. And so I need to be much more diligent and wise and strategic with what I'm doing in the coming year. I actually created an acronym for myself, created these 4 boxes, the things that I'm going to work on. It's myself, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I am going to travel and have more fun. That's the T. E is focusing on empowered relationships. Those are those relationships that really mean a lot to me, that lift me up. And then P is to focus on my purpose and my business and get really clear and be strategic about how I'm spending my time with my business to grow it. And I actually shared that I chose a word for the year, which I really encourage you to do too. Either a word, words, or a phrase of those very positive, forward-thinking words that can help you move forward. I chose the word elevate, and that also applies with those things that I just shared. I'm going to elevate how I take care of myself, how I nurture my relationships, how I grow my business, and spend time with those that I lead. So I hope that helps you, because I have to be much more strategic and much more purposeful and intentional as I move forward. What are the things that I can't live without? Number 1, it's been Growth Day. That's been a huge game changer. And side note, I'm going to put links into all these things that I can't live without. Some of them are affiliate links. Some of these things are just a link, and some of these things are completely free. So Growth Day happens to have an affiliate link. My husband is the affiliate, and it is something that I could not do without. I really resonate with Brendan Burchard, and he has just blessed my life greatly this year. Number 2, System.io. It is a very robust platform that I cannot recommend enough. It is somewhat similar to Kajabi, so it's pretty robust and intense, but it's awesome. I've tried a lot of different tools. The reason I love System.io is it is incredibly robust and it checks all the boxes for me. I became certified with it this year, so that's a huge other accomplishment that I even forgot to mention. And it is available in both a free version and a paid version, but I really encourage you to give it a try, because you can do your email, you can do your landing pages, you can host your courses, and so much more. And it has incredible templates, just enough to allow some flexibility and creativity. I think if there are too many templates, we get overwhelmed. For me, simple is always better. So I really encourage you to give that a try. As far as podcasting tools, what I use, what I couldn't live without, Spotify is the platform that I use to host my podcast on. To edit, I use Audacity and Riverside. Audacity is a little bit more complex and robust, but I've really grown to love it, and really a lot of the podcasters actually use that. So I hope that helps you. The second podcast tool that I have is a microphone. I use Blue Yeti. I absolutely love it. Before that, I had the Blue Ball. They are both great sound quality without breaking the bank. As far as a ring light, when I'm doing my video content, I have the newer 18-inch ring light with a stand. I have that on Amazon. And in the center, the reason I love this, it's large and it also holds my phone. I could not live without that. And the other thing that I am most excited about is the Big Ass Calendar by Jesse Itzler. If you're not familiar, that is Sarah Blakely's husband. I have wanted this calendar for so long. I'm an incredibly visual person, so I'm going to hang that Big Ass Calendar on my wall. I'm going to plan out my year. I'm going to put my big rocks down first. That means spending time with my children. That's number 1. And my date nights with my husband, all those things that really matter most. And then I'm going to fill in the other things in between. So I'm so excited about that. And it also comes with a hardback monthly calendar. So I'm going to get myself organized and really strategic. Super excited about that. The free tools that I love and couldn't live without. Number 1, Canva. It's for everything. For all of you, if you don't use it, Canva. They also have a free version. I have upgraded to Pro, but it's a total game changer. It is an online platform that has everything from social media graphics to documents and templates that you can download to use personally and professionally. The second thing that I could not live without is CapCut. CapCut is my go-to app for editing my videos and my reels. I talk about this in my Speak class. There is a free version that is also very robust. I recently upgraded to Pro and I just could not live without it. It's super easy to use, so couldn't live without it. Check that out. The other thing that I now could not live without is ChatGPT. I was so resistant to ChatGPT and AI, to be completely honest. My mind has just been blown and really stretched this year. The truth is, AI is not going away. We all need to embrace it and celebrate it and learn to use it, or we're going to get left behind. It's everywhere. In every app that we have, everything's being updated, from Google to even our iPhones to Canva, CapCut, all these apps that we use, they're all being updated. Every one of them is incorporating AI to make it easier and faster for all of us. So I was resistant because as a writer, I like to write my own content. However, for those of you that know me, and you've probably seen some of my posts, I make so many typos. I'm just a hot mess, to be really honest. And so I've learned just to let go and to embrace it and let it help me with my typos. So there you go. And actually, Amy Porterfield just did a really awesome podcast episode on this. So I highly encourage you to listen in. It's a recent one. I can't remember what the number, but it's awesome. So even, all the greats, we're all doing it. We're all embracing it. And Brendan Burchard is a huge, huge, huge advocate of AI. He even talks about voice cloning. So it's where we're headed. Robots are coming. All this stuff, it's moving forward and very rapidly. So that's that. I was kind of a slow adopter, but here we are. So on a personal level, some of the things I couldn't live without. Number one is ButcherBox. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It has saved us so much time in our meal planning. We get it once a month, but they have incredible top quality protein, often grass-fed. That's what we do. And it's been awesome because my freezer is always full of protein. If I'm like, what am I going to make? Really great. And it saves us time and money and energy. So I'm all about being efficient, but it's also really, really delicious. And they have incredible customer service, which always matters more to me than just about anything. So highly encourage you to do that. I could not live without it. I have the link here for you as well. The second thing that's really fun that I couldn't live without this year personally, I actually discovered this recently, is called Lenses for Less. So for those of you that don't know, I wear contact lenses. And when I went to reorder my contacts, mind you, just a 6-month supply, it was $70 more than I paid the last time. Yes, insane. I did what I love to do. I got on Google and found this place called Lenses for Less. They have phenomenal customer service, again, huge for me. And actually, within the first 5 days of receiving it, my right contact tore, and I reached out to them and said, I don't think this is supposed to happen. I've never had this happen right away. And they said, no problem. They immediately sent me a new entire pair of lenses, another new 6-month supply. So just awesome customer service. They were here within, I think, 2 or 3 days. And I have a 10% off for you as well. If you wear contacts, highly recommend. Really, really fabulous. So I have created a document with all of this and with the links that you can just click on. So click on that here in the show notes and check out some of these things. So what's ahead? Kind of this little business meeting here. What's ahead for 2025? Well, as I mentioned, I'm bringing Redlow back. Actually, we're going to be stepping forward with Redlow Women. It's one of the things that I'm most excited about for 2025. As I shared, Redlow represents each one of us. You are Redlow, I am Redlow, we are Redlow. We are strong, capable women stepping into the next chapter of our lives. And it's all about reclaiming our confidence, embracing our unique paths, discovering our potential, leading with courage, and overcoming those hard things. And we're doing it together. And in case you didn't figure that out, that is an acronym. R, reclaiming confidence. E, embracing our unique paths. D, discovering our potential. L, leading with courage. And O, overcoming limiting beliefs. Yes, those limiting thoughts and beliefs that hold you back, that doubt, that feeling unqualified, not feeling good enough. You know what I'm talking about. So let's step forward together. I'm so excited about this, and I look forward to sharing this more with you. The other thing that I'm super excited about for 2025 is my Step Into Your Purpose class. I've been working really hard on this, and I'm so excited to finally share this with you. But I have found that as midlife women, we really need tangible support and tools to really move forward into our next purpose. It's one of our biggest struggles, right? We hit this midlife and we wonder, what's next? So I'm taking some of the things from my book, Step Forward, and what I've learned along the way, and really helping you gain clarity on what's next for you. So coming February 3rd, I have a free 4-week course that will help you really create a transformation in that time. So please sign up. I'm going to share all the details with you. I'll give you a link to sign up. I can't wait to meet you and help you step forward and gain clarity in the coming year, because there's no greater time than now. And there's an old proverb that says, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now. So I want to encourage you and empower you to step forward into all that you are and find your next purpose. Turn your passion into purpose and profit. You can do it. If I can do this, so can you. Okay, this is a long episode, I know, but I'm having fun here. So looking back, I'm just grateful for each one of you. Thank you for showing up and being here, being a part of this community. Thank you for listening in. I hope I've blessed your life in some way. I hope this podcast has as well. If nothing else, I hope it's inspired you and empowered you and reminded you that you're not alone, that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong right here. For me, 2024 was a really incredible year of growth and reflection, and really stretched me in many ways as far as my mindset and what I really want to do with this business. I've kind of played small a lot, to be honest. I've had to lean into my own strength and who I really am at my core. And so I just want to remind you that there's more that's available for us. We never stop learning. We never stop growing. We never have to stop fulfilling those dreams and goals that we have inside of us. And I just want to encourage you to pay attention to that whisper. 2025 is going to be an awesome year. I say let's thrive in 2025. I'm excited to continue this journey with each one of you. Let's keep stepping forward together. Let's elevate our potential, our possibility, and our purpose, because every day is a new opportunity to step forward. Thank you again for listening in. Thank you for listening to me just chatter here. I hope, like I said, it's blessed your life. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It just lets others know what we're doing. It offers a little bit of empowerment and reminds midlife women that there's a place for them to learn more about what they want to do with their lives. Remember that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong. Keep stepping forward. Until we meet again, may God bless you. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here. I would love it if you could just take a moment and leave a review and click on those 5 stars, because it helps this podcast grow and it lets other women know that we're here to help them step forward with their life and business. Remember, I'm here for you to help you reclaim your confidence, find your voice, and grow an impactful business. God bless. Have an amazing day.